Investigators are trying to figure out what sparked a dangerous airplane fire in Las Vegas. More than a dozen people were hurt. British Airways Flight 2276 never made it off the runway. An engine erupted into flames, endangering the lives of 170 people on board. Mireya Villarreal has more from McCarran International Airport, which is south of Las Vegas.
It was moments before takeoff when flames and smoke rippled from the British Airways Boeing 777.
Speedbird, Mayday, Speedbird 2276, request fire services.
Speedbird 2276, heavy fire services are on the way.
The pilot reported a fire in the twin-engine plane's left engine.
Speedbird 2276 heavy, we are evacuating on the runway. We have a fire, I repeat, we are evacuating.
It was scary. You know, we didn't know whether the thing was going to explode or what. It was mass hysteria.
Within minutes, the 157 passengers and 13 crew evacuated the plane using the aircraft's inflatable emergency chutes.
I was one of the first people off the plane and jumped down the slide, and I looked up and the flames seemed to be about twice the height of the aircraft.
It's a long flight, and we all know that, you know, it's a fully tanked aeroplane and anything can happen. So if there's explosions or whatever, then it's, you know, it's a serious thing.
Dominic Worthington was a passenger on the flight. He shot this video as he walked across the tarmac with dozens of others.
Just grateful for what the captain did, how quickly he responded, and his crew as well. Everybody, you know, at the end of the day, it was a serious fire.
Former NTSB Chairman Mark Rosenker joins me now over the phone. Mark, do investigators have any clues as to what might have caused the fire even this early in the investigation?
And so it will be a while before they're able to figure out exactly what happened to this engine, why it happened, and then ultimately determine the probable cause. But what's going to happen is they're going to bring in the NTSB, the FAA, I believe General Electric manufactured the engine, so they'll be there. Boeing will be there. British Airways will be there, along with the NTSB version of the UK called the AAIB. All will gather to begin the process of examining this engine, doing a teardown, trying to understand exactly what happened, how it happened.
Mark, you know, looking at these images and seeing those enormous flames shooting up into the air, I'm reminded of Swissair Flight 111, which crashed back in 1998. That was a fire that happened as the plane was taking off. Very similar, this plane wasn't in the air, that plane had already taken off, but within a few minutes the plane had crashed and all those on board were killed. So how, I mean, did the passengers really escape, like, with their lives here, right?
Well, again, the crew obviously acted extremely competently, extremely professionally, very quickly. What they trained for is exactly what you saw there. And the pilot recognized he had a problem with his left engine. He decided to abort the takeoff, and at that point, as soon as the aircraft was stopped, he called for the evacuation, and the slides popped out. All seemed to work properly in this particular case, and within 2 or 3 minutes, everyone was evacuated from the aircraft. We had a few number of minor injuries, but that is to be expected. This is nothing unusual. When you're going down that slide that quickly, many times you can sprain something, maybe even break something.
And Mark, you know, as you point out, the pilot's quick thinking, he was able to get all those passengers off the aircraft safely on the ground. And I'm curious, I know every time there are incidences like this, the NTSB and the FAA make changes to regulations. I pointed out that Swissair Flight 111, which was an MD-88, but is there anything that you can tell our viewers that's changed in the last 20 years as far as procedures when a fire breaks out on a plane?
Well, the pilot immediately began to put in his fire mitigation processes. He pulls the handle. That creates a mitigation and a fire retardant. It stops the electricity to the engine. It stops the fuel flow. So he actually began the process of closing down that engine and beginning to actually try to shut down the fire even before the fire department got there. And they got there very quickly and were able to put the fire out right away.
Former NTSB Chairman Mark Rosenker. Mark, thanks again.